The staff and board of the preserve have been working hard in the 4 mission areas of conservation, education, research, and recreation.
Hello folks, just giving you a little clip of work we've had done recently here at the Hike Preserve's main office and visitor center. This wall had collapsed over the winter time, and we had Hank Lebrecht repair it. And here is the wall coming into the parking lot, which has recently come down, and I have received estimates on repairing it. And then here we are, the Bullfrog Camp patio, which was redone this past winter, done by Ellerton Stoneworks. They removed the deck and posts, supported it, tore out all the old concrete that was from the original patio, and replaced it with all dry stack stone. And they redid the wall, retaining wall here as well. And the ferns came back like they weren't even worried. Lastly, here's Birdhouse Cottage, that we had the foundation re-stacked. It all began with the back porch foundation, which is a big pile of stacked rock. They're just finishing up. It's looking quite nice. And then our conservation stewardship coordinator will be able to move into this facility, and we'll get it all cleaned up, get it ready. And here's our newest piece of research equipment, the Campbell Scientific Weather Station. We are currently working on getting a public access portal to go on our website. We have just started talking to an intern from SUNY Albany who's going to help us with that. One of the major accomplishments of 2019 were the painting of the Lincoln Pond Cottage, the mill house / office, and Ordway. Also in 2019, we added boardwalks around Lincoln Pond Trail to help school groups and patrons get around the wettest parts of the pond. We are looking for help, so if you're interested, please contact us.
Hello, my name is Garrett, and I was hired as the stewardship coordinator for the Hike Preserve in January. With over 2,000 acres of land and water, the preserve identified a need for an on-the-ground land steward, so here I am. A priority for this position is to carry out the preserve's new invasive species management and monitoring plan in order to protect key areas of the preserve from invasive plants and forest pests. I spent the beginning of my time here learning about the history of the preserve and getting acquainted with the land, but then jumped right into assessing our hemlock stands for hemlock woolly adelgid. Assessing the variety of hemlock stands we have here at the preserve was a great way for me to see all the preserve had to offer. I discovered nearly 10 porcupine dens, countless deer bones, and even spotted an ice disc on the 10-mile creek. I also helped bring ArcGIS to the preserve so that we could create in-house maps needed to inform land management decisions. For example, at the end of my assessment of the hemlock stands, I was able to create a map to display my findings and show that 4 out of our 5 priority hemlock stands had been invaded by hemlock woolly adelgid. ArcGIS has been a tricky software to navigate, but I have found the challenges to be incredibly rewarding. As an accredited land trust, we are required to perform annual monitoring of our boundaries. This winter and early spring, I walked all 20-plus miles of our boundary, looking for any changes along the way and posting any necessary signage. This has been my favorite part of being the stewardship coordinator thus far. I've been able to discover so much about the preserve while walking the land that just reading about would have never taught me. On 2 separate occasions, I saw a raccoon and a porcupine climb up a tree as soon as they saw me walking along the boundary. Although I ran into more animals than people this year, if you are a neighbor, I look forward to meeting you on next year's boundary walk. As spring comes to an end and summer begins, I have started the work of invasive species monitoring and management. I began this week removing invasive species, starting with a small population of yellow archangel on the southern portion of the property, and then moving to the autumn olive that surrounds the lake. I also went out kayaking on Lake Myosotis for the first time to monitor our aquatic invasives. Curly leaf pondweed and Eurasian water milfoil both threaten the water quality of Lake Myosotis. While I was kayaking on the lake, I came across the largest turtle I have ever seen. Invasive species management and monitoring work will be the bulk of what I do through the fall. I am working to build a volunteer steward team to help with invasive species management and other stewardship work, and have just announced our pilot Adopt a Trail program. Let me know if you would like to learn more about how you can help. We also need citizen science volunteers to help with monitoring of our phenology trail. Our phenology trail, that is a short and easy to navigate loop that starts at the Visitor Center, goes across the Lower Falls Bridge and back along the 10-mile creek to Route 353. If you've visited recently, you've noticed the new blue metal tags labeling our focus plants. We monitor 15 species on our phenology trail, including herbaceous plants, shrubs, and trees. I've been monitoring the trail twice a week, but would be ecstatic to have volunteers participate in this weekly monitoring. As each aspect of my position has allowed me to wander the preserved property, and despite us having the vast and beautiful Rensselaerville Falls, I've grown fond of the many, many smaller waterfalls that we have here on the property. This one behind me being one of my many favorites.
Hi all, my name is Michaela and I'm the Membership and Outreach Coordinator for the Hike Preserve. My job at the Preserve is pretty vast, with me fielding questions from the public, chatting with members, running our social media platforms, and organizing our events. Since I started here in November, planning and executing events has been one of my favorite aspects of the job. This past winter, I had the pleasure of running our annual Winter Festival, which is held at the Eldridge Research Center. We had free crafts, local vendors, sledding, and a live ice rescue demonstration by the Rensselaerville Fire Department. We also offered a full moon hike in early 2020, which allowed people to see the preserve in a different and beautiful way. I love the variety of year-round events we get to offer that appeal to people of all ages. It's so nice to see the community gather at the preserve, and I cannot wait until we can do so again. In the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns about preserve happenings, please email me at michaela@hikepreserve.org.
We're here at the Eldridge Research Center, which is of course the hub of our research program. Last summer we sat here on the porch with many of you and enjoyed a potluck dinner before heading inside and learning from our Hike Research Grant recipients and others at our Thursday night lectures. In 2019, we celebrated our 80th anniversary of research in November and looked back at our history and ahead to our future. Science-based understanding of the natural world is more important than ever, and we are looking forward to 2021 bringing a return of a busy research season. The Research Center is also home base for our education programs. We are in the education room, which was humming with activity this time last year.
In 2019, I was the seasonal educator for the Hike Preserve. I had the opportunity to help with the field trip program and the summer education program. I had so much fun watching my students learn and grow. Of course, none of that would have been possible without the dedicated volunteers like Susan, Margaret, and Jamie.
We also had a full wildlife ecology research program in 2019 with amazing high school students who had a great time together and learned a lot in what was for most their first intense research experience. I hope some of you were able to see the results of their hard work at the 80th Research Anniversary celebration. A high point of the wildlife ecology research program was the interactions between the high school students and the 4 undergraduate ODM interns who were here working with our senior research fellow, Dr. Sue Beatty. The interns, who themselves created fascinating independent research projects, also mentored the high school students in their projects. This is something we have never done before, but which we will definitely repeat as it enhanced the experience for all. An exciting addition to our education program was the creation of our new field-based science program for homeschool students in 2019. We were lucky to have Dr. Jamie Winan-Solis develop and teach a full class of homeschool students last fall as they explored the land together. We can't wait until we are able to work with students again. We also had a great season of fall field trips in 2019 with students from elementary, middle, and high schools coming to learn various aspects of forest health. but we really missed our spring field trip students this year.
We thought by now we'd be able to update you on our plans for recreational improvements, but the pandemic has impacted our funding for the project. Our goal is to address trail signage and surface issues across our 12-mile trail system, and also to make improvements at our boat launch area.
We'll keep you updated on this project as we can. So the Beach Pass program might be on hold, but the kayak rental program is alive and well. We've been enjoying some beautiful weather and the kayaks are filling up and people are getting out onto the lake.
One of our biggest accomplishments in conservation so far this year has been the addition of 23 acres of land adjacent to the preserve. This land brings significant ecological value and was donated by a generous member. We're so grateful that the donor entrusted the protection of this land to the hike preserve, and we can't wait to show it to you in person when we can gather again. Another important conservation accomplishment for 2019 was the creation of our first invasive species management and monitoring plan and the beginning of the necessary work to protect our native species and ecological communities through the management of invasive species. Our invasive species management plan also enabled us to receive funding from the Partnership for Regional Invasive Species Management for our first treatment of hemlock woolly adelgid that threatens the beautiful and important stands of hemlocks at the preserve.
This grant also made us fully appreciate just how important a stewardship coordinator was to fully accomplish our conservation mission moving forward. Because of that important start, we are in a much better position to address our stewardship and conservation needs, ranging from invasive species to conservation planning.
Some of the grant went into the creation of boot brush stations and signs. These signs will educate people about invasive species and help reduce the spread of invasive species. We'll be installing them throughout the course of the summer, so be sure to keep a lookout.
Hello, my name is Leah Waldron and I am the Admin and Finance Manager here at the Hike Preserve. I hope this video finds you well. A little bit about what I have been doing during quarantine. I have been working from home, which has been a little bit of a change. I live right in the hamlet of Rensselaerville, so it's not too hard of an adjustment, but it does get lonely sometimes. Thankfully, I have acquired a new helper to help me file my documents. Aside from working from home, I have also been doing a lot of gardening, a lot of landscaping, a lot of hiking, and I hope everyone out there gets the chance and ability to enjoy the warmer weather that we are now having. Take care.
I've only recently been able to return to the office and it feels so good. However, the visitor center is still closed and I miss seeing all the members and chatting with them. Luckily, I have a couple members who have been really in touch and been sending me lots of cool pictures they're taking at the preserve. I've been trying to feature them on our Facebook and Instagram, so go ahead and check it out. And if you ever take a cool picture at the preserve and want to share it with me, please do so.
This is an unusual time for everyone. In recent months, you've shown us how important the preserve is to you, and we are so grateful to our members whose support make everything we do possible. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.